Hi everybody, it's Sheena. I've been meaning to make a video for quite a while about how the channel's been changed around a bit. There's new icon, new name, all that stuff. I will get into that another time because right now I really need to say something. And it's going on, it's having to do with what's going on right now with all the riots and everything. What happened to Mr. Floyd is unacceptable. It is disgusting. And frankly, more should be done. The officer, from what I understand, has been arrested and charged with third-degree murder. That is a good start. The other three officers were not. They were fired. From my understanding, they deserve punishment as well beyond what happened. They were there, they were witnesses, they allowed what happened to happen. And that is not right. In my eyes, and I'm sure in many other people's eyes, they are accessories to the crime. And they should face the court system just as harshly, if not more so. As for the person who did it, he is a monster, and he does not deserve to be he does not deserve to be charged with third degree murder. He deserves to be charged with first degree murder. That asshole overstepped his boundaries. He used excessive force in a means that, like, from what I understand, Mr. Floyd was on his stomach, cuffed behind his back, and this guy put his knee or his foot, one of the two, on his neck. I have known several police officers, and from what I understand, that is not a tactic that is to be used at all. Mr. Floyd was not a monster, and he was most likely innocent of whatever it was that they were arresting him for. And all four of those officers are just as responsible. And something that people aren't understanding or don't know is that these officers are of varying races. The one who committed the crime was white. Yes, that is true. But you had a black man, a Hispanic man, and an Asian man all there who could have done something. And what did they do? They let it happen. This isn't a white on black crime. This is all races on a black man's crime. This was an innocent man. I'm going to say innocent because he was innocent until proven guilty, according to how our laws is supposed to work. He was an innocent man who was murdered not by a cop, but by four cops. Now, as for what's going on in the world right now, it is just as fucked up. You people out there rioting are not helping the cause. You are making it worse. You are putting businesses out of commission. You are hurting families, and it's causing so much upheaval that the good cops are being overshadowed by the bad cops. And I have seen the past couple of days, I have seen a lot of bad cops on TV. Like, I've seen them storming suburbs, the streets of suburbs, like a militia or something like that, shooting people on their porches because of curfew, and that is fucked up. But what people aren't seeing are the cops that are standing with everybody, that think that what happened is not right, and that justice needs to be done, and there needs to be more to it. Now, I don't hide the fact that I'm white. I am white. And I do not understand the idea of me being white has anything to do with me being racist. I understand the idea that because of ancestors, like, I don't know everything about my heritage, but yes, white people kept slaves in the country. Yes, that is true. We don't do that anymore. At least, we're not supposed to. But do understand that there is racism still going on. I don't believe in, a white person can be racist just because they were born white, just because white people have had slaves. Not every white person had the money to have slaves. There were and there is poor people in the world too. I grew up poor. I did not have any kind of privilege until my mother started her own company. My family had to borrow food from neighbors and stuff. Like my mom had to go to a friend's or a neighbor to to borrow cereal to feed me and my three siblings when I was like 7 years old, 7, 8 years old. I've gotten bullied and all this stuff, and my father's lost jobs and stuff, and it's something I don't understand. And I'm not trying to say that my life is just as bad as someone else's, because right now my life it's okay. I wish it to be better, but it's okay. But my friend Victor, who is a black man living in Louisiana with his uh, disabled brother and his mom, and or their mom, and like always babysitting their sister's kids and stuff. He doesn't have it as good. He has trouble finding a job. In fact, he's working his ass off right now, but he's being paid under the table. He doesn't have any benefits or anything right now. And his brother has all kinds of conditions, such as I believe he said something about a club foot, a bad back. They both a mental issue, I believe. I can't quite remember. Victor, if you're watching, I'm sorry. And I wish there was more I could do for him. I try to help him out sometimes. Like we'll play games. If you guys have watched my streams or saw some of my videos, you guys probably have heard him. And I would, if I had extra money or if I had money in general, I would give it to him and his brother to, have to buy a game so we could play together or something like that. And if there was more I could do, I totally fucking would. I would. Like I don't have a job anymore. I recently quit my job last month for personal reasons. I'm not going to get into that here because that's not, now's not the time. But to quote something that Dr. King once said, rarely do we find men who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There is an almost universal quest for easy answers and half baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think. And that right there, I feel that correlates with what's going on with these riots. Instead of finding an alternative way to try to fix this, people have resorted to doing nothing but throwing a temper tantrum, destroying private and public property, and causing a way, way bigger issue than the innocent death of who I can only assume to be a very kind man. And before I get bashed at that, understand that one person was killed unjustly by four crooked cops. But in doing that, by rioting, by destroying, by going out there setting fires and all this stuff, you personally are causing way more pain and suffering than the death of one man. You are putting people out of a job. You are having people, innocent people, hurt, killed even. And it's stirring up the crooked cops out there. And now, we got Antifa out there that are going around spray painting Black Lives Matter on buildings and stuff. But you know what that's doing? That's only making the innocent black people that are out there peacefully protesting and stuff look like criminals. It's not helping the cause at all. It's making it worse. People need to sit down and talk, not go out there and throw a temper tantrum. There are easier ways to do this. I was alive when the LA riots happened after Rodney King was brutally beaten by I believe 7 cops, and it was recorded and sent in a news station, and the cops were acquitted, and it caused riots and shit. And you know what he said? Do you know what the victim said? Can we all just get along? And that's something that I believe everybody needs to think about. Not every white person is evil. Not every black person is a criminal. Not every Hispanic, is a freaking pot smoker and shit. Not every Asian goes ching chang chong. And like we need to start thinking less about one type of racism and think about all the racism, and we need to hold those accountable, not just point a finger at a single thing and be, oh yeah, that person did it, therefore everybody's racist, or that person did it, therefore it's a race crime. No, the crime that happened was committed by a white man, a black man, a Hispanic man, and an Asian man. It was not just a white man that did it. A white man pulled the trigger, yes, but there were three others that stood right next to him and could have done something about it. And they didn't. They let it happen. And now, because that happened, people have to justify going out there and destroying other people's lives just because they want to get a message across. And you know what? I'm all for that message. And like I said before, I wish there was more I can do. I honestly do. I have had black partners. I've had Hispanic partners. Some of you may remember Shailene. She was Hispanic. And now I have a girlfriend who's pregnant. And she has to drive over half an hour to go to her doctor's appointments and stuff in a town that last night was supposed to have a riot. And I am now legitimately scared to have her go out there in her condition. She's supposed to give birth next month, the beginning of next month, July 4th at the earliest. And I am scared something is going to happen to her. Because people think that going out there and destroying stuff is the best way to get a point across. And you know what? To a degree, it is. Because everybody's going to see it. Everybody's going to hear it. It's going to be reported on by, all the news channels, ain't it? But is it really the right thing to do? In the short term, yes, it is the right thing to do in the short term. But never go for the short term. You want to go for the long term. And this is not what you do to get things fixed. It's not. We need to come together, and that is the only way this is going to stop. Racism has been around since even before the colonies. White people have been slaves, Asian people slaves, Egyptian people, Hispanic people, all races have been slaves in some form, in some fashion, over our entire existence. We can't let something that happened in the 1700s affect us now. We are better than this. We are better than that. We know better. We can do better, and we can be better. And that's what I want. Not not for my brothers and sisters who are white. There are a lot of assholes out there who are white. Yes, I know. I'm family with some. But for my black sisters, my Hispanic sisters, my Asian sisters, my brothers and sisters, we can do this. I'm sorry if I rambled on too long, but it's just how things have got to be. We have to change, and throwing a temper tantrum and destroying stuff is not the way to do it. I hope you all can see that. Good night, or goodbye, or laters, I guess. Sorry, I know I'm going to get hate for this, but you know what? I don't care. I said what I needed to say, and I said it to the best of my ability. I'll see you guys soon with some proper content. And you know what? Black Lives Matter.